Hello everybody, welcome back to Life Stories. I hope you're all doing well, because I sure am. And today, we got coming to you more stories from Reddit/idontworkherelady. So, you know the drill, settle down, and let's get started. Our first story is titled, I Don't Work Here. Border Jumper? A while back, I used to work for a chain store. We'll call it Wall-E. I worked doing loss prevention most days, but occasionally was on the floor doing sales work part-time because I was broke. I'm 5'5", not that well muscled, very shy and quiet. And yes, I need to mention my race, but very clearly Hispanic. This is important. Please note, I also come from a small town that is very diverse and doesn't take racism well. I had quit close to Black Friday that year, as I had gotten into the police academy for the city. It was now mid-April the following year, and I decided I would head to the store after training with a fellow cadet, named FC. We were allowed off-site during training hour breaks to get any personal needs done once a week, since town was so small and it was close by. The squad needed a few cases of water and such, so we went. Now, we're both wearing blue shirts, similar to the store shirts. They clearly say, Cadet, Police Academy of Redacted Town, on the back, and our unit logo on the front. We are covered in sweat, and we both have shorts and boots on. FC takes off to the snack section, and I load up on 4 cases of water in our buggy. After getting the 4th case into the buggy, a woman, angry Linda, Karen isn't even good enough for her, very loudly clears her throat and begins tapping her foot behind me. I assume I'm in her way and quickly turn around and excuse myself for being in her way and start to spin the buggy around to head the other direction. She then yells, "Where do you think you're going? You're supposed to be helping me." I raise a brow at her and look at her, confused. "I'm sorry, miss, but I don't work here." I get cut off, and AL screams like she's being beaten with a sledgehammer. "How dare you talk to me that way? I pay your salary. My husband is, insert some important name I'm supposed to know, and you'll be fired for treating me this way." I again say, "I don't work here, lady. I'm in the..." I get cut off again as she begins to spew racial slurs at me, which I will not include, and tells me to go back to where I came from. At this point, I'm beyond angry that not only has she not stopped yelling, but she's also insulted me and my race. There are a few people gathering at the ends of the aisles at this point, and I gather my composure waiting for her to finish her hate speech. She finally ends her rant with, "You effing border jumper," as she pushes me back into my buggy. I rolled my eyes and said, "Are you done yet?" To which she replies, "What do you have to say for yourself?" with a smug look on her face. I sigh heavily and say, "Ma'am, not only is what you just said beyond rude, but it can also be considered a hate crime to assault me after calling me a border jumper and berating me because of my race. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to my..." She cut me off again and yells, "Can someone get an effing manager here? This idiot won't help me." A good citizen, who we'll call GC, at the end of the aisle, scoffs and jumps at the chance to end this peacefully, and wanders off to find a manager. FC comes strolling down the aisle and slaps the top of the water cases, not having heard all the commotion. "Ready to go? Gotta get back before roll call." AL glares at him, and if eyes could burn holes, he'd be ashes, and exclaims, "You're just going to let your friend go, huh? Must be nice to have a coworker cover for you," as she rolls her eyes, crossing her arms in my direction. FC glances at me, and then at AL, and laughs a little. "Lady, neither of us work here." AL screams, "Quit covering for her, and one of you help me right now. This second. I know she works here. She's helped me before. Effing lazy border jumper." At this point, the manager comes around the corner, having been briefed by GC about AL, and looks at me about to ask what happened. Before he could even open his mouth, AL goes off like a fire hydrant, telling the manager that I'm a terrible employee and I need to be fired that second because I refused to help her, then assaulted her in the middle of the aisle. The manager looks at me and back to AL and says, "Ma'am, she hasn't worked here since before Black Friday." AL starts stuttering and muttering to herself, "Well, she... Manager turns to me. "What happened, Maff? my nickname. I explained the entire situation to him and mentioned how she had pushed me backwards into the buggy. AL butts in, "I did no such thing." Manager looks up at the ceiling and points, Let's go to my office and see what story the camera tells." AL, FC, and I walk to the office, and GC follows. AL sits in the chair next to the manager and glances away shyly as she knows she did wrong. The manager reviews the tapes and asks GC what words were exchanged. GC tells the manager, and the manager glares at AL. "First of all, I want you to apologize to her for assaulting her and racially profiling her then. I want you to sit there and wait while I take care of having you banned from my store because I cannot tolerate such ignorant and blatantly rude behavior in my store." AL sheepishly looks down and mutters, "Sorry." The manager looks at me. "Would you like to press charges on her?" "I can call and have a car here in 5. I shrug, and FC says, "If you don't press charges, she'll get away with it." GC chimes in. "I'm a former PO. She assaulted you and verbally attacked your race. It is legally a crime." Before I even say a word, the manager is on the phone with my non-emergency dispatch, requesting an officer for assistance. Lo and behold, my sergeant, who treats me like his child because he knows I'm not the best at being in charge, hence why I'm in the academy, to learn to be that way, pulls up and gives me the dagger eyes. "Maff, what the hell did you do?" I look down and reply, "Sir, I didn't." GC comes up behind and pats my shoulder softly and begins to tell Sergeant what happened. Sergeant, who's 6'4" and 250 plus, and is a very scary dude, gets a very angry look on his face and storms past us and gets in AL's face. "Let me tell you something, miss. If you ever speak to one of my cadets or anyone in this town like that again, I'll see to it that you spend hours cleaning floors with a toothbrush and picking up trash on the freeway." AL nods her head in silence, realizing her mistakes, and FC and I chuckle a bit. Sergeant says, "Ma'am, you're under arrest for assault." AL begins to cry and throw a tantrum as she's handcuffs and kicks Sergeant, which results in her being literally thrown into the back seat of the squad car. GC goes up to Sergeant. "I think she handled it quite well for a cadet. You've done well in training her, I see." Sergeant laughs and nods a bit. "I guess." He glances at me and FC. "Y'all check out and get back. Your FCs are gonna love this story." We check out and went back and told our friends the story. Everyone thought it was nuts. It's been 2 years now, and I don't know what happened to AL, but I hope wherever she is, she learns not to treat people so bad. I'm now a patrol officer for the next town over, and I carry that experience everywhere. Makes for an interesting story. If there's one thing I like to see, it's people in a workplace looking out for each other, even after you quit. Nice story. Moving on after that especially long one, our next story is titled, "I don't work here, but I could probably still help you." This happened early this week. I frequently shop at a nearby Walmart for random stuff I need or miscellaneous things I want. However, the time I went for this particular story was to meet up with a friend for a little while. She was originally there for some art supplies, so that was where I was going to check first. On my way through the door, I overheard a shopper ask the greeter where the camping and outdoor section was. Without really giving the greeter a chance to answer, I told the shopper the location of the store where his destination was, and pointed in the general area as I went on my way. That was the end of that engagement. So now, I'm back to looking for my friend. I looked down all the aisles in the arts and crafts section before seeing that she wasn't there. Then comes engagement number 2. Another gentleman caught my attention and asked if I worked at the Walmart. I was wearing a black Zelda shirt, shorts, and a backwards Toon Link hat. I told him I didn't, and he was polite enough to apologize for taking some of my time. It wasn't necessary, so I asked him what he was looking for. He said it was auxiliary adapters, since his vehicle's radio was messed up. With that, I told him where they were, and even helped him find them, since my friend was not in the same side of the store. He thanked me again for my time, and I later found my friend in the pets section. That is pretty much all that happened in this story. It's crazy that you have so many entitled people in other stories demanding random people to do their bidding. All they have to do is be polite, and the person might be able to help. One can only hope. While there are questions to be asked as to why this guy would walk up to somebody wearing Legend of Zelda merch to inquire about Walmart locations, the fact that he was pretty polite about it kind of goes a long way. Wholesome story, and with that wholesome story, it's a pretty good spot to end our episode today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Life Stories, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Trent. I hope you're all doing well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content we got cooking up coming your way soon. And you know how I always say it, hope to see you guys soon.